Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Erin Foley, functional medicine practitioner, national board certified health coach, chiropractor, speaker, and author, and the founder of Vibrant Healthy Woman. This is where we talk about all things hormones, energy, weight, mood, sleep, and feeling your best after 40, which includes talking about perimenopause and menopause. So today we're diving into that topics that so many women talk about but don't always get clear answers about, perimenopause. So what is it? How do you know if you're in it? And most importantly, what can you do naturally to support your body during this time? If you're tired, moody, not sleeping well, gaining weight, feeling really stuck, sluggish metabolism, hot flashes, brain fog, or if you're wondering if something's just off, you're in the right place. And I'm really thinking about this today because I was just on a menopause summit yesterday and I was a speaker. We were talking all things perimenopause and menopause. All right, so today let's talk about what is perimenopause. Perimenopause is literally means around menopause. It's the transitional time when your hormones, especially estrogen and progesterone, start to fluctuate as your ovaries basically are using up your eggs and they are finite and you will run out. And that is basically when you stop having your periods, your cycles, and that is menopause. So the perimenopause lasts about 10 years. It can start in your late 30s, early 40s, and it can go for like 10 years. It ends 12 months after your last period. That's one day, and that's the official day that you are menopausal. So, really, what we want to talk about is perimenopause, which is the time leading up to menopause. So, even though perimenopause and menopause is natural, the symptoms can feel anything but normal. It is, I talked about this on the summit that it's like it is a natural phase of your life and your hormones. It is not, should not be a struggle. It is not a struggle to be endured, and it's not a disease to be treated. However, that's really kind of how it ends up being in our Western society. So let's talk about what are some common signs and symptoms of being in perimenopause. So even if you're still getting periods, that's all part of it. So your cycles will be changing. What does that mean? They could be generally, they're going to be getting longer, less predictable. Maybe you're skipping a month. They could get shorter and then longer, so it's very unpredictable. You could have heavier or lighter bleeding. You can have trouble sleeping. You can have mood swings or anxiety or feel hormonal, night sweats and hot flashes. Now, even if you are still having cycles and so most women will think about like hot flashes have to do with menopause, but hot flashes are going to be in the perimenopausal period if well, one of the hormones that can really cause an issue with hot flashes and night sweats is cortisol. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But just remember, you can be perimenopausal, having cycles and periods, maybe even having PMS, but also having hot flashes. So totally not fair, I know. Brain fog and forgetfulness, lack of mental clarity. So that's a really big one. Low libido, weight gain, especially around the belly fat gain, and also just being stuck with your weight. And maybe your body's just redistributing the weight to different parts. Another big one is fatigue and energy crashes, and just fatigue in general. You can be tired and wired. You could be exhausted and overwhelmed. You just be tired all day. And then you can have PMS symptoms, breast tenderness, um, cramps, that type of thing. And another thing, here's another couple. One of them is ADD in women in their 40s. We're hearing more and more women being diagnosed with ADD in their 40s. It's like, well, what the heck? Well, this is a symptom of low estrogen going into perimenopause, and also joint pain and aching and like frozen shoulder. So if your shoulder, this is a prime time that you could have frozen shoulder because the joint capsules in your body need estrogen. And as the estrogen declines, it can start affecting your joints. All right, so does any of that sound familiar? And one of the biggest things is most women I work with describe this as, I just don't feel like myself. Something is off. I don't feel like me anymore. All right, so what is happening in your body? So your body is incredibly wise. And as I said, this is a natural, normal transition. But during perimenopause, progesterone is usually the first hormone to drop, can lead to estrogen dominance, which means your estrogen gets higher, even though it may not be high. But when progesterone is low, that can this when this happens, it can affect your sleep. You could have heavier periods with the estrogen dominance. You might have more anxiety. And then estrogen can start to fluctuate up and down, and then it'll start to deplete. And that can cause the hot flashes, the brain fog, and the mood swings and the mood shifts. Now, on top of all of this, you've got all of this going on. You also have your stress hormone, cortisol. This is a big, huge player in this because if you're doing all the things and you're busy, and if you have high stress in your life, or if you've been through some stressful periods of time and you're not resting enough and you're not taking good care of yourself, cortisol can play big time into this. So, what can you do about this? Here's the empowering part. You're not helpless in this transition. There's so much you can do to feel better naturally. So you can support your stress response. So I was just talking about cortisol. So cortisol is your stress hormone, and this is the one that actually allows you to handle stress. So when you are really stressed, your cortisol goes into action. If you're stressed for a long time, or you have some big life stresses over years, or you're just busy and you're doing it all, you can deplete your cortisol. It's like your gas tank is empty. That's why you do have to look at your stress. You have to become aware of what's going on in your life, your lifestyle, your stress, your body, what's your energy, your sleep, your mood, your weight, your gut health, what you're eating like, what are your habits. You have to really be aware. Take some inventory of this. What's your family like in your relationships? What's your business and work like? How much stress are you piling on and how much stress do you have? So first of all, to support your stress response, start with more making you a priority and start with rest. I know that may sound a lot of women don't say they don't have time to rest, but think about deep breathing, walking, yoga. It can be gentle yoga or restorative yoga. Good sleep hygiene. Help calm down that cortisol and protect your hormones. So this is basically self-care and it's essential. Second, eat in a blood sugar friendly way. Balance and stabilize your blood sugar equals more balanced hormones. So I see a lot of women, they're not eating enough protein, they're not eating enough food, they're not even looking at food as fuel. They're forgetting to eat, not enough calories, too many carbs, too many sugars. So focus on proteins, healthy fats, fiber, vegetables, vegetables more than fruit and all whole foods. That's the first thing to do. There's more to go with that, but just if you can at least get protein and get rid of the junk and the sugar, that's a place to start. Next, consider targeted supplements. Now, when I do work with women in my hormone testing and health coaching programs, I work with targeted supplements based on the testing. So I can see what might they need. Vitamin D is usually always deficient, and sometimes magnesium and B complex. Now, B's have to do with methylation, which is a hormone, like has to do with your liver and your hormones. And I can see in the tests, do you need these things? Adrenal supplements, all of these, you can like and what I get is I get a lot of women who come in and they're taking random supplements because you can get them all over the internet. You can get this or that. You can get what your friend's taking. You can do a lot, but you really want them targeted to you um, in a way well, maybe using testing or maybe doing like a wellness consult with somebody like myself who can actually take a history and say, okay, this is where you can start with your supplements. Um, and sometimes you may need bioidentical hormones, or hormone replacement therapy. Now, I do not prescribe medication, and so that is not my area of expertise, but I work with women who are on hormone therapy because they need the nutrition, the supplements, the lifestyle, and the stress lowering, and that's what I do. And as I talked about, test and don't guess. Every woman is different. So, functional hormone testing, like Dutch testing, cortisol testing, metabolic blood testing, can help you understand your unique imbalances and what your body actually needs. I like to call it stop the hormone guessing game because how much time do you have to work on this? It's just time to get some information and then you can get a nutrition plan, supplement plan, lifestyle, coaching, um, stress reduction, whatever it is that you need to help you move forward. All right, and that's the next piece is get support. This isn't something you have to figure out alone, and working with someone who understands the whole picture can save you time. Yes, it can save you money, it can save you stress, and it can save you energy. Um, so if you're nodding your head and thinking, yes, this is me, oh my gosh, I want you to know you're not broken, you're not alone. You're going through a normal and natural hormonal shift, and it's totally possible to feel balanced, strong, and vibrant again. If you'd like to take the next step, I do actually have a lot of free guides and content for you. And that's all on my website, vibranthealthywoman.com. And I offer a free healthy hormone strategy call. Let's get some strategy together to help you understand what's going on and what to do next. You'll find the link up in my description, up in my at the very top of my channel. If this video was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs this info. And here's to your vibrant health at every stage. Thanks for watching and see you next time.